Loki Season 2 has now kicked off on Disney Plus with the God of Mischief back for more time hopping drama. We begin right where we left off with Loki in the TVA after it all went down. He who remains. Below, we catch up on everything that happens in episode 1, including Easter eggs, the post-credit scenes, and everything in between. Of course, before we get any further, we will getting into spoilers for the first episode here, so make sure you are up to date. The first thing is the trouble at the TVA. In the Loki season 1 finale, viewers were thrown for a loop when the god of the mischief ended up back at the time keeping agency and no one had a clue who he was. This is resolved very quickly in the opening episode of season 2. When it becomes clear he is actually in the past, Loki crashes through the window and cracks the ground before encountering Cassie, who doesn't recognize him. However, before Cassie can call for backup, Loki is pulled into the present again. The god of mischief then notices the crack on the floor and finds out that it's been there for as long as they can remember. So just now, how far back did Loki go? Throughout the opening episode, Loki keeps being pulled between the past and the present thanks to his time slipping issue and finds out some intriguing things about the TVA. This includes how He Who Remains was originally a very big face at the agency before it went through a rebranding and covered him up. It's the revelations from the future that are more interesting though, as Loki hears a recording that suggests He Who Remains and Judge Renslayer were once very close. New faces we saw in our first episode of Loki. In the aftermath of Judge Renslayer's disappearance, there are some new faces at the TVA too. Kat Dickie plays General Dogs and Liz Carr is Judge Gamble, who we meet as they discuss just what can be done about the spiraling situation. The big moral question is whether should they be pruning those branching timelines or should they listen to B-15's pleas to save the lives of those living on them, as they are variants just like them. Gamble is pretty convinced by B-15's argument, but Dogs is more militant in her response and wants to find Sylvie to interrogate her. Meanwhile, Loki and Mobius decide their route of action is to go to repairs and advancements where they meet Obi. While everyone else has had their memories wiped, Ki-Yuan's character remembers as long as 400 years ago at the TVA. Mentioning the last time he spoke to Mobius, he wondered why he managed to escape the memory wipe. In terms of Loki's time-slipping issue, he hasn't got an explanation. It's not supposed to be possible at the TVA after all. But he has got a potential solution. It's pretty dangerous though and will require Mobius to expose himself to temporal radiation while Loki prunes himself in hope it will send him back to the present. There's also the issue of temporal loom, which keeps track of all the branching timelines, and it's been overloaded in aftermath of He Who Remains' death. It translates raw time into a physical timeline, and if they can't fix it, then chaos is on the horizon. Everything goes a bit pear-shaped when Loki is pulled into the future when no warning. This leaves Obi hoping that he will prune himself in the time while Mobius exposes himself to the radiation. Sylvie's return. While all that's going on, Loki finds himself in the TV's future, and it's in disarray. He hears a phone ringing near the elevator, which he edges towards as Sylvie tries to open the doors of the lift. Just before he can answer any questions, he prued from behind and the time slipping is fixed. However, just what is going on at the TVA will likely only be resolved as the series continues, but this is very intriguing indeed. This isn't all we see of Sylvie in episode 1, either, as there is a special post-credits scene where we can find out where she went after killing He Who Remains. The answer is unexpectedly in Broxton, Oklahoma in 1982 at McDonald's. It's probably the happiest we have seen her as she tells the employees there she wants to try everything as she watches people enjoying themselves. So here are some Easter eggs I noticed in episode 1. OB's real name is Ouroboros, which has an intriguing double meaning. It's a circular symbol that represents something eating itself, signifying an endless cycle of death and rebirth. Sounds perfect for someone working at the TVA. The second, the entrance door at the TVA, which allows them to reach the temporal room, has an X in the middle and the Pretty looks X mean Y. Could this be a nod to their role in the MCU's future? At the third one, Broxton, Okama is a location that Thor comic fans will know well. In the source material, it's actually where Thor set up New Asgard after his rebirth. There's also a cheeky Moon Knight connection. While this didn't make it into the Disney Plus version, an earlier clip of what Casey is listening to confirm it's the same podcast that Stephen Grant is hearing in Moon Knight episode 1. So guys, these were my all the episode first one breakdown and hidden details. If you watched, if you like my video, please do subscribe and
subscribe my
click
channel
the like
and press the
button.
bell icon.